Playing with accessories on the cajon is very useful and quite popular. This is just an extra way to expand your sounds, your playability, and to just kind of have some more fun on the cajon. So playing with a cymbal is probably the first thing you want to learn to do as an add-on with your cajon, and then move on to other things such as the snare drum or extra other drums, whatever. It depends on your style. Foot pedals are always also very useful because as a cajon player, we're not using our feet as much as we do if we are drummers. Now, playing with the cymbal, we're just going to look at some really basic tips about how to play with the cymbal. So obviously, firstly, the cymbal itself, you want to get a kind of thin cymbal to respond nicely and easily to your hands, especially if you're looking for a crashing action. But again, that's really going to depend upon what sound you're after and what kind of music you're playing. So you need to kind of figure out what sound you want, and I would suggest heading down to your closest music store and going to try out a few of the different cymbals in order to decide what suits your sound. As a guideline, again, I would say having a thin cymbal, a thin crash or a thin splash would be a great one to start with, just because of the fact that it's quite thin. It responds really nicely to your actual hand, because remember, we're not playing with sticks here, so we don't have the same kind of velocity, the same kind of power, and the same kind of attack as we would with sticks when we're actually using our hands. Now, how to strike the cymbal? A lot of people ask me, does my hands not hurt? No, it doesn't hurt to strike the cymbal with your hands if you're doing it with the right kind of technique. So just a little bit of theory on this. If we're going to hit the cymbal with our full hand, kind of like we do with the cajon, we're getting a bit of a dead sound. So what we want to do is we want to hit it. And again, this is all just guidelines for you to start playing the cymbals. Again, you need to use your creativity and find out what works for you, what sound you want. And that's going to mean you're going to adjust how you play your cymbal and what kind of cymbal you buy. But I would suggest kind of just slapping the cymbal on the edge. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to kill your sound by deadening it there, like we don't do with the cajon either. You kind of imagine it as a hot plate. So you just want to go through it. You just want to touch it for that instant of attack, and then get your hand away from it so that it rings and resonates. So again, the more of your hand you use, the less sound you're going to get, contrary to what your brain logically tells you. So you want to kind of just hit it right on the edge, right there, okay? Even just with the tips of your hands. And you can also mute it. Where you place your cymbal, that is also going to depend entirely upon you. There is no set way how to set up your own cajon kit like we have with the drum kit. There are like specified general ways that everyone does it, just because of the technique that we learn. But again, the cajon world is quite open and still being explored. And obviously, again, it's a very personal thing when you're building your own cajon kit. So where you're going to put your cymbal is going to depend entirely upon you. It's funny, a lot of people ask me, why do I put the cymbal on the left-hand side? Because left is actually my weaker hand because I'm right-handed. That's because most of the strokes that I want to get my cymbal on actually lands on the one, just because that's where the heavy strokes. So usually when you start playing cymbal, you learn to play the cymbal on the bass, on the one, on the heavy beat. So if I had to do that over here, it would mean I'd have to hit the cymbal over here and then get my hand back down to the cajon. Again, that's a lot of movement, whereas here, I'm hitting it down and my hand just goes straight down to the cajon. So for me, it works that it's on the left side, and most of my cymbal strokes gets played with my left hand. Again, most of my leading when I'm playing, not when I'm practicing, but when I'm playing, happens with my stronger hand, obviously, which is my right hand. So I want to be able to play the cymbal with my stronger stroke, with the actual leading stroke, because that's where we're going to place it most of the times. So to give you guys just a very short introduction to it, you're going to have to kind of go further with this on your own time and work on it. But I would say let's learn how to actually put the cymbal down on the first bass, because that's really one of our strong, powerful strokes right there on our one, especially when it comes to pop music and modern music. So I'll give you guys a little bit of an example of what we will do, and then I'll break it down slowly for you guys. Let's have a look at what I did there really slowly, and try and follow me along if you've got a cymbal. And let's try to get this down. You could also just do a little bit more of a simple exercise, not as much as a groove. Just let's try that a bit slower. This is just for your hands to get used to the kind of the different positions that we're in, the different strokes, and to get them even. So you don't want to do, I mean, you could do that and you could use it because you specifically want it to sound like that. But to start with, you want to try to get just get it together. And then you can practice some on the highs. If you're finding it hard to mute it, just let it ring, okay? And then once you've got the hang of it, then you can do the coordination of actually, yeah, got it. So let's just try again all our cymbals on our ones down with the bass. You might find it a little bit fast at that speed to do with your triplets. And again, like with all our exercises and with everything that we learn, I suggest you start really slowly until you get comfortable with that and then push up your speed. So. Now we're just going to try a very simple example of playing the cymbal with our snare, not on our one and not on our bass. Let's try that a bit slower. So far I've just given you guys some exercises, but let's try to do this, a very simple cymbal stroke within a groove that we've learned. So we're going to take the rumba catalan, or one of the kind of typical pop grooves. And we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. A bit slower. That's the cymbal rattling a bit. All right, so you've seen that there's some of the ghost notes that I'm actually not putting down because my left hand is using those actual, that actual time to move to the cymbal and from the cymbal back down to my hand. Generally, that's not a very big problem because you're not going to be doing a groove and playing your cymbal on every one at every beat. So those few times that you do miss out those subdivisions, also if you kind of play the groove, unless it's extremely slow, it shouldn't be that visible. But you could also practice to have your hand really fast down and up for your subdivisions. It's not something I do. For me, it works well to kind of just substitute those subdivisions for the actual time I take to get to the cymbal and back down. But I'll give you guys an example of how we would just play this normally. Well, that's about it for the cymbal for now. We're going to add in a few more exercises and more complicated things within our Volume 2 for Modern Method for Cajon. But I believe that is quite a bit of work, and if you get all of those basics down, you should be able to incorporate the cymbal into your playing very easily.